Yeah. Okay. Have you ever thought about selling your catalog or part of it?
Yes.
A lot of people in your position are doing so right now and walking away with gigantic bags.
Yeah. We've had some conversations. We definitely have had some initial conversations and are in some conversations. So, it's something on the table.
It's kind of interesting, though, because, I mean, I'm sure you got enough money. But
I could use some more.
I mean, they said Metro got 70 million.
Yeah. That's nice.
Very few people I
Shout out to
know
Metro Boomin.
don't need 70 million.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of needs 70 million at some point, right?
Everybody needs 70 million. I need 70 million.
And I mean, people make a good point. It's like, I mean, you could keep making $1 million a year for the next, 40 years that you're alive, or you could take this bag now.
Exactly.
And, we all have this idea in our head that we're going to like make all this stuff in our life and then we're going to give it to our kids.
Right.
In reality, your kids probably know what to do with like some money better than they would know what to do with your catalog.
Real shit.
Or your, YouTube channel.
They probably sometimes don't even know what to do with the money.
Yeah. I asked my girl that the other day. I go, if I died right now and let's say that you own No Jumper, who are you selling it to? And she just freezes. She's like, I have to sell it? I'm like, well, I mean, unless you want to spend your life running it, probably. And like, I'm like, actually, you should just talk to my accountant. My accountant can probably create a little bidding war type thing that you could help manage and everything. But I mean, it is kind of crazy to think about like what happens to the catalog after you die.
I mean, listen, I'm at a point in my life where, I've probably lived at least 2/3. Hopefully, I have another half of my life to live out. But you do think about those things. Like, and if I'm in a position where, I can get 100 million tomorrow or 150 million tomorrow for our catalog, like I would much rather do that and be able to, utilize that money and do something with it instead of like continue to hold out and, not and get a couple million every year in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you could do with 70 million, you know what I mean? You know what you could do with 30 million, like if you can't, like, I can clearly turn 30 million into 100 million or 100 million into 250.
That's the problem, though. I haven't thought that far ahead. I do not know what the fuck I'm doing with 70 million.
Yeah.
Besides sitting in the bank and probably paying taxes on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, so then you got to pay the portion of your taxes on it. But, I mean, you're a smart guy. I'm sure you have, somewhat of a portfolio. So, you've made enough money. I'm sure there's investments and things that are part of your portfolio outside of No Jumper that's making you money.
Definitely,
so that's my thing with it. Like, yeah, if I can cash out and then, move that money into other places to do, you fucking right.
But are you invested in a lot of like non-rap things? Because like
in a sense,
I noticed that with QC.
Some things.
With QC, they just sold their cattle, or they sold the company and everything. But I noticed that they bought like 30 Bojangles, like before that, and that was kind of a moment where I was like, oh, so y'all are planning on being rich forever and not needing to depend on finding the next hot artist.
You
That's
got
interesting.
to. You got to. I mean, me and my partner have a company where we own apartment buildings. I'm an investor in Liquid Death.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow. I'm an investor in some other things as well.
You have a 50-cent vitamin water return from that yet?
We haven't gotten a return yet.
Okay.
But shout to Liquid Death for sure. My man Cannon has a Tomorrow app, which is doing incredibly well. So yeah, I mean, I just think at this stage in the game, like, definitely you got to put your eggs in various baskets. Like, all my money is not coming in strictly from music, So I've made some good investments and put my money in some places that have enabled me to make money while I sleep.
Right. Yeah. I was astonished when I realized how much money you were, well, you didn't say the number, but how much you were making from Dat Piff and shit back in the day.
Oh, yeah. It was insane. I mean, literally, like, I was making more money in the Dat Piff era than I made like before when I was like hustling mixtapes on my own.
See, I would not have known.
Shit was crazy.
I would not have known that the ad space that they were selling would have put them in the position to give you that much money.
And what was so crazy to me was I used to almost kind of get mad at myself because I was like, damn, like, if Dat Piff is able to give me 50, 60, 70 grand a month for doing these tapes and making them exclusive to them. Like, imagine what they're making. It's like, damn, why didn't I think to build this app? Like, my name was strong enough and big enough in the mixtape game that I could have potentially like did it myself and did like drama-like-the-dj.com, and that would be the go-to site for all things mixtapes. But, you know, in hindsight, like, you know, I did very well. Salute, shout out to my man KP. Like, we had a great partnership.
And you would have got washed away once the streaming era came in.
Yeah,
anyway,
I
right?
mean, that's true too. So, you know.
But there was a big rumor that Dat Piff was officially offline
I
the
saw
other
that.
day. But
I
then
saw
I
that.
saw it confirmed that it's still
It's not,
online.
yeah.
Although I don't think that they're putting out new stuff on there. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's like, you know, that shit is a vital space because that's where a lot of art and music lives that doesn't live anywhere else, you know, that's not available on the DSPs, you know, and it's like, if we were to lose that, we lose so much of like a rich history and culture that's so important to hip hop, you know what I mean? So that shit needs to get figured out, you know. I mean, it's because there could be a period where we lose, you know, that music and that time, you know what I mean? Like, until, you know, and it's probably damn near impossible, but like, I would love to bring the whole Gangsta Grillz catalog to the DSPs, but it's like, you know, it's something I'm working on slowly but surely. But just in general, like, you know, there's so much music out there from that era that could potentially just be forgotten about.
I know. Sometimes I will think of like an old Dipset song, like I can remember like a lyric or two, and I'll be sitting there on Google trying to type in the lyric and just find it, and I can't fucking find it. And then it kind of occurs to me like, that was on some random mixtape.
Real shit.
That nobody remembers.
Yep.
And it probably has some crazy sample in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe it is out there, but
Right.
like it's going to be tough. Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. So, and that's what's dope about like the space I've been in recently. Like, and I think that has brought the excitement back. Like, you know, when people listen to the Jeezy Snowfall or hear me on Dreamville or Tyler or the multiple projects I've been doing, it's like it's that mixtape feel from that time, you know what I mean? And it's like, for those who are around during that time, it's like they get the nostalgia of it. For those who it's new to, it's like, oh, this is dope. Like, you know, this is kind of like a new concept to them that they're getting familiar with, you know what I mean? So I think that's why, like, you know, because of the success of Call Me If You Get Lost and the other projects I've been doing, like, I've been on this run with Gangsta Grillz where the resurgence of it is because, you know, people miss that feel, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what separated a mixtape from an album. And before I was in this space, people were just using the word mixtape, throwing it around because they were fearful of calling some shit their album. Now it's like, okay, we're going to get Drum to do a mixtape and it's going to feel like a mixtape.
All right, so you see it. We just hit 500K. You know what that means? That means you gotta subscribe and get us to 600K because we are dangerously close to 666K. Let's go.